Assalamualaikum to Dr. Rizwana and my fellow classmates. Today we are going to present our group assignment on topic environmental cost and benefit. Before that, meet my group members. Wan Sabrizal, Nur Suryati, Muhammad Iqwan Amin, Nurul Alia and me myself Arina Pahanam. So this is the content of our topic.
To start our presentation, let me explain what is environmental cost. Actually, many organizations vary in their definition of environmental cost. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency states that the definition of environmental cost depends on how an organization intends on using the information. For example, information on cost allocation, capital budgeting, process or product design, and other measurement decisions. Because of that, they made a distinction between four types of costs, which are conventional costs, potentially hidden costs, contingent costs, and image and relationship costs. Next, Hansen and Mendoza state that environmental costs are incurred because of poor quality control. Therefore, they advocate the use of periodical environmental cost report that is produced in the format of a cost of quality report, with each category of cost being expressed as a percentage of sales revenue or operating costs. The cost category are environmental prevention costs, environmental detection costs, environmental internal failure costs, and environmental external failure costs. The United Nations Division for Sustainable Development (UNDSD) on the other hand describe environmental costs comprising of costs incurred to protect the environment, for example, measures taken to prevent pollution, and also costs of wasted material, capital and labor, for example, inefficiency in the production process. From all these variations of environmental costs, generally environmental costs can be said as a cost incurred by business, either directly or through third party, to prevent, reduce or repair environmental damage caused by their operation. It includes the cost an organization incur when it does not comply with environmental regulation.
Assalamualaikum, I am Wan Sabrizal Safi. Now I'm going to tell you guys the purpose of environmental cost. Firstly, it is to allow the economic entities, local and governmental collective to have a corrective assessment. Second, to comply with regulation imposed by authorities. Third, to assess the feasibility of a project whether the benefits outweigh the cost. And fourth, to encourage companies to conserve the environment. For example, to promote the recycle policies and also go green policies.
Next, we continue with the reason why business should manage its environment in controlling cost and benefit. To begin with, society as a whole has become more environmentally conscious, with people becoming more aware of their carbon footprint, and recycling now taking place in many countries. A carbon footprint, as defined by the Carbon Trust, is a measurement of a person, organization, event, or product total greenhouse gas emission, both directly and indirectly. Companies are discovering that portraying themselves as environmentally conscious increase their attention to customers. Second reason is because environmental costs become huge. Some companies' environmental costs are soaring, particularly those in highly industrial sector like oil production. These costs can account for more than 20% of operating expenditure in some circumstances. Costs such as this must be managed. For the last reason is because regulation is increasing worldwide. The global regulation is rapidly increasing, and penalties for non-compliance are rising concurrently. In the largest ever seizure related to environmental conviction in the UK, a plant hire firm, John Crawford Plant Hire Ltd, had to not only pay £85,000 sterling in costs and fine, but also got £1.2 million sterling of its asset size. This was due to illegal disposing waste and violating its waste and pollution permits. And it's not just business that should be concerned. Officers of the company as well as junior employees should face criminal charges for knowingly violating environmental regulations.
Now, I will proceed with tier of environmental costs. There are 5 tiers of environmental costs, which are conventional costs, hidden costs, contingent costs, relationship and image costs, and lastly societal costs. Begin with the conventional costs. It is the cost of raw materials and energy that has an influence on the environment. These include the expenditures of acquiring environmental friendly equipment and plants. However, some raw materials will cause greater damage due to their nature than others. For example, using fossil fuels increases the quantity of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. This substance is typically burned to provide heat and energy for plants, automobiles, aircraft, and industrial buildings. Most of the energy consumed by companies has a negative influence on the environment. Second is a hidden cost. Hidden costs are the expenses incurred prior to the start of the manufacturing process. Because they are also regarded indirect costs, they may have an impact on the procedures for analysis and decision-making about the operation. For example, Tea Life has produced an environmental tea bag that holds for tea life beverages, which can have a significant beneficial influence on the environment by reducing plastic usage. However, there is a hidden cost in making the environmental tea bag, which is the cost of designing the bag. The third is contingent cost. It is a cost that may arise in the future. It may have a greater impact than its sum depending on the extent of the harm caused by the company's operations. For example, 3M Company, a diversified American firm that manufactures a wide range of items such as abrasive, adhesive tape, and associated products, and also consumer electronic components, was fined $2.8 million for hazardous waste offences in Cottage Grove on May 26, 2022. The fourth tier is relationship and image cost, which is an environmental cost that is regarded as less tangible or intangible since it is incurred to affect management, consumers, workers, communities, and regulators' subjective impressions. Mitsubishi Electric Companies, for example, launched a mangrove tree planting program in Tanjung Piai, Taman Negara, Johor. This event included various Mitsubishi departments as well as 20 students from Sekolah Kebangsaan Senai. So, lastly, the final tier, which is the fifth tier, is the societal cost. It is the cost that an organization imposes on others, which are the environment and society, for which they may not be held legally liable and cannot be reimbursed for under the legal system. Both private and external costs are included in societal costs. For example, pollution in Sungai Mulang, Perlis has killed hundreds of fish, and if the pollution persists, it may impact the reproduction of different species of fish in the river as well as the activities of paddy farmers there. In this situation, the societal cost includes both the private costs incurred by the enterprise that disposed the toxic waste and the external costs incurred as a result of pollution. So, the first four tiers can be described as private costs, as these are environmental costs that directly affect the profit of the organization or are costs which the organization can be held legally accountable. So next, I will pass to the next presenter.
Hi, I am Wan Sabriza Safi. A review of the driving forces and interactions of environmental costs and benefits suggests a similarity between these items and quality costs, which is compliance costs, which are prevention and appraisal, and non-compliant costs, which are internal and external failure. The costs of compliance include prevention costs, which are incurred to preclude environmental failures from occurring, and appraisal costs, which are incurred to monitor and compensate for problems not eliminated through prevention activities. Meanwhile, the costs of non-compliance include internal failure costs, which are incurred to remedy environmental problems before they have affected outside stakeholders, and external failure costs, which are incurred to address environmental hazards, fine, penalties, and litigation after an environmental problems has affected outside stakeholders and the environment. Given the similar characteristics of quality costs and environmental costs, a report such as the illustrated in table will promote better decision-making by managers and contribute to a competitive advantage in the marketplace. A less comprehensive but similar report can be distributed externally to enhance an organization's image and provide stakeholders with needed information. As shown in the table attached, through categorizing costs as prevention, appraisal, or internal and external failure, users are better able to understand the activities of the firm and the potential for future environmental liabilities. This approach to reporting also emphasizes the interaction between compliance and non-compliant costs. Finally, the report format can be compressed, meeting the needs of external stakeholders concerned with the big picture and allowing owners, creditors, and others to participate more fully in environmental performance analysis and discussions. A minimum of 2 footnotes are essential to provision of a complete picture of the firm's environmental activities in addition to the basic model illustrated in the table. In our country, Malaysia, there is no lack of legislation on environmental laws in Malaysia. There are at least 34 acts related to environmental matters and various regulations, rules, and orders passed for the purpose of environmental protection. In 1974, the first legal framework on environmental legislation in the form of Environmental Quality Act 1974 (EQA) was enacted and came into force in 1975. In passing this law, Malaysia embarked on a committed program to control industrial pollution, including wastewater, which was not previously regulated, air pollution from factories, and solid waste problems. From 1957, when the country gained independence from the British until the enactment of the EQA, Malaysia had no fundamental laws relating to environmental controls and used separate pieces of legislation such as the Forest Enactment, Mining Enactment and Waters Enactment to deal with environmental issues as and when they arose. As a federal law, the EQA applies to the whole of Malaysia. It also established powers to be exercised exclusively by the federal government, and it does not depend on the parallel enactments for its effectiveness within state boundaries.
We have chosen Canon and Intel as company that implement the environmental cost and benefit. One of the company is known as eco-friendly and the other one is known as eco-friendly. Before we focus more on the company, let me explain what is eco-friendly and eco-friendly. Eco-friendly is defined as company that strive to be environmentally conscious, while eco-friendly means company which strive to be economically sustainable, to build their reputation, to be part of a movement, or simply for underlying benefit and saving, such as tax credit. This shows that the company become environmentally conscious for the wrong reason, such as gaining an environmental reputation. Apart from that, eco-friendly company ratio show that there is not very high positive cost-benefit relationship financially. This indicates business not receiving much quantitative or financial benefit and saving as a result of implementing environmental strategy, while eco-friendly company ratio show that they were saving tremendous amount of dollar than they were investing. This indicates that these companies are receiving greater benefit and saving while helping the environment and society.
Next, I will proceed with the example business that apply the environmental cost and benefit. The name of the company is Canon Inc. The headquarters of Canon is located in Tokyo, Japan. Canon is known as a world-leading innovator and provider of imaging solutions for business and consumers. In 1933, Canon's first trading company, Wanon, was established, and a few years later, in 1937, Precision Optical Industry Co. Limited, the predecessor of Canon Inc., was founded. The company now develops, manufactures, and sells a wide range of copying machines, printer, cameras, optical products, and other products to meet a diverse variety of customer needs. The Canon brand is well recognized and trusted worldwide by individuals, families, and in business and industrial sectors. Now, let's look at the environmental activities by Canon. Canon is tackling environmental issues such as climate change, resource depletion, pollution, and biodiversity loss on a global scale. To help leave a prosperous planet for future generations, Canon is taking various group-wide initiatives. First and foremost, Canon is contributing to a low-carbon society by working to reduce carbon dioxide emission at all stages of the product life cycle, including energy-efficient products design, initiatives at operational site and production activities and logistics. Next, contribution to a circular economy. There is an emerging global trend toward the recycling and reusing of resources due to concerns about natural resource depletion and marine plastic pollution. To ensure more efficient use of limited resource and reduce waste, Canon is making products smaller and lighter and reusing and recycling materials as much as possible. Canon promotes reductions in resource consumption and product-to-product recycling with the aim to contributing to the development of a circular economy. Furthermore, eliminating hazardous substances and preventing pollution. Research and studies are being carried out around the world on the impact risk of chemical substances on the environment and people's health. Canon thoroughly manage chemical substances in products and those used in manufacturing process to prevent environmental pollution and adverse effects on people's health. And last but not least, contributing to a society in harmony with nature. Valuable forest resources, biodiversity, and various habitats are disappearing because of climate change and overdevelopment globally. Canon recognizes that it is important to protect natural environment and biodiversity for the future sustainable society. Canon Group companies worldwide carry out various activities to conserve and protect biodiversity.
Hi, I am Sabriza Safi. Canon takes account of environmental impacts at each stage of the product life cycle and works to reduce them. Canon set an overall goal for their medium-term environmental targets of achieving an average 3% per year improvement in the index of life cycle carbon dioxide emissions per product unit. The following in the table attached are the environmental costs and benefit for Canon Incorporation. Based on the table, in terms of environmental benefit, Canon achieved their target of improving life cycle carbon dioxide emissions per product by an average 3% per year, recording an average improvement of 4.6%. The COVID-19 pandemic meant that the rate of improvement was less than in the previous year, but the target was nevertheless met thanks to ongoing initiatives affecting the whole product life cycle, including energy-saving measures at operational sites and in product design. The cumulative reduction since 2008 amounts to 41.3%. Apart from that, in terms of environmental cost views, the Facilities Management Headquarters is the primary driver of energy reduction activities. In 2020, energy consumption per basic unit improved by 10% over the previous year, exceeding the 1.2% improvement target. Besides, as a result of such initiatives as reducing waste at production sites and recycling waste generated internally at production sites, Canon made their target of 1.0% improvement with a 7.0% reduction in total waste generation over 2019.
Thank you, Wan, for the great explanations. Next, another company that adopts environmental cost and benefit practices is Intel. A little bit regarding Intel. Intel was founded on July 18, 1968 by semiconductor pioneers Gordon Moore and Robert Noyce. It is an American multinational corporation and technology company based in Santa Clara, California. With only 12 employees and $2,678 in revenue when it began in 1968, it has grown to become the world's largest semiconductor chip manufacturer by revenue, as well as the developer of the x86 series of microprocessors, which are present in nearly all the personal computers. Next, Intel's environmental projects. Through its commitment to positive global impact, Intel strives to create technology that enriches the life of every person on Earth. To achieve that target, Intel undertakes these environmental projects. First, the largest solar farm project. In 2020, Intel's largest solar farm project outside the United States began in Malaysia. Intel's Malaysia's operation used solar energy to power 6 buildings across the company's Kulim and Penang campuses. It covers an area equivalent to 900 car parking space and 50,208 square feet on building rooftops, and is expected to generate 6,000 megawatt-hour of electricity yearly and also reduce carbon dioxide emissions by about 3,800 tons. This project also has contributed around 15% of Intel's global on-site photovoltaic electric power capacity. Next, the circular economy model. Intel adopts this model to maximize recovery value and limit environmental effects when original equipment manufacturers and other customers return components, a process known as reverse logistics. By restocking, repairing, reusing as warranty spares, or extending product life through resale in the secondary market, Intel has been able to reuse and refurbish more than half of all product returns. As a result, Intel has enabled $30 million in added value since the project began in 2020. That's all from me, and I will pass it to the next presenter.
Thank you, Alia. So now, I will proceed with Intel environmental cost and benefit in the two projects regarding energy and waste management. So, regarding the energy management, the issue is to build solar energy to power its 6 buildings in Kulim and Penang campuses by implement and install 3.2 megawatt solar installation that generating some 600 megawatt of electricity annually. The environmental benefit from this is the energy supply from solar sources also helps diversify and introduce renewable energy, RE, mixed into the campus energy supply mix, which was predominantly powered by natural gas and coal sources that reduce carbon dioxide emissions by about 3,800 tons, and the environmental cost would be the installation cost of the solar panels. 1 megawatt are typically cost around $600,000, so 3.2 megawatt will result around 2 to 3 millions to install the solar panels. The second project issue is to manage electronic waste, e-waste, such as computers, monitors, and phones. E-waste is electronic products that are unwanted, not working, and nearing or at the end of their useful life by implement circular economy strategy using reverse logistic process. By adopting reverse logistic, about 99% of the Intel's product return are either reused or reclaimed, and only 1% end up in a landfill. In 2020, Intel has recognized about $30 million in value from this strategy, and the generated revenue is around 5% to 10% each year, and they expect a continuous improvement in that. It has a hidden cost that revolves around the cost of the process of product return. The cost includes cost of return, cost of transportation, cost of repair, and cost of reselling.
Last but not least, conclusion. In a nutshell, environmental law and policies alone will not enough to ensure corporate sustainability and environmental protections if businesses do not collaborate and act. It is critical for all companies to examine the environmental costs and benefits to continue their operation while also protecting the environment. Going green or eco-friendly businesses are becoming more prevalent nowadays. But the companies must plan carefully and include all processes to prevent being disruptive to the environment. Being an environmental friendly company may create a positive image and maintain its brand reputations for the long term since it's good and safe for both human and the environment. Therefore, companies should practice environmental cost and benefit as it can aid them in gaining a clear picture of how society will fare under various policy options for reaching a specific objective. That's all from us. Thank you so much for your time and attention.